Cox, and I graduated at OCI with a baking and pastry diploma through the weekends.
And why the weekends? Why did you decide to do the weekend program here?
I had a full-time job. It fit in perfectly into my schedule, and the 8-hour days were a little better sounding to me than the little bits throughout the week. I've been baking as a hobby since I was 16. Not much changed. I would really just on the weekends bake anyway. Might as well learn more. Living in Florida, that's where I started my internship. I started on with a hotel. They were very accommodating and very wonderful to work with. Eventually, after a year, they hired me on. And then after my vacation week here, when I move back, we'll be moving up to Tampa, and I will actually be promoted to the head of production at a Grand Hyatt in Tampa. I'm basically right under the pastry chef. And it's basically making sure that everything's made, and I'll just be, making everything that's on the par boards all day long. It's purely production, and it will be amazing.
And how long did it take for you to get from essentially an externship to now being the head pastry?
A year and a half. A good year and a half. I was in the internship for a year. It was a very nice paid internship. They teach you, banquets and weddings and the restaurant side. And then for a couple months, they had me in the restaurant doing plating work for the steakhouse. And then from there, when my family was moving up to Tampa, they actually, the chef had found me a transfer. It was a higher position than I was at, and the executive chef at the other hotel was a little apprehensive about having someone of a lower cook status go into that job. But after talking with him and showing him how eager I was and showing him some pictures of the things that I've done, he was actually very comfortable with it. And the next week I got an acceptance letter. In hotels, you do a lot of different types of desserts. It's not just, you make the same thing every day. Though there are aspects that do that. We have creative outlets like the coffee shop. You can make whatever you like as long as it sells. And then in the restaurant, you can also make specials that will sell throughout the weekend. And you can pretty much be as creative as you want to be.
What do you think has been the most helpful thing that you learned here at OCI that has made your transition so successful?
Speed. Speed was a thing for me. I was not the quickest person when it came to scaling or mise en place, and I found that out very quickly when I came here. And you eventually move up to being faster and faster by the end of the course. And it got to the point where actually my family was telling me that I was actually faster and cleaner in the kitchen afterwards when I was baking at home.
And why do you think that's so important in the kitchen?
Because it's very busy. You have to literally go from one thing to another within an 8-hour workday, and you have to get so much done that if you're slow, it kind of compounds on itself, and then you realize that you have 2 hours left and you have so much more to make that the faster you are, the more efficient you'll be. There's like cook times that I've taken away from here. I wasn't so good at cooking cheesecakes and cookies. Those were very difficult for me because I'm colorblind, and it's hard for me to tell when like cookies are done, for instance. I would before coming here, I would overbake them a lot. And then they showed me about the ring of not dark, but there's a darker ring around the outside that I have to look for. And even though I'm colorblind, I can still kind of pick it up. And that's something that's always stayed with me. My ultimate goal is to eventually work my way up to pastry chef. When I move up to Tampa, I want to join the ACF, which is the American Culinary Federation. It's a membership, and you get all of these connections, and you can certify for different levels of positions. I eventually want to work up to executive pastry chef or possibly master pastry chef, just because that's one of the goals that I've been working for, that I've been wanting to do for years now.
You're doing something with chocolate?
Yes.
Let's talk about your chocolate.
I'm actually working a little bit with a bean to bar thing. It's not public yet, but I'm still doing it as a hobby. I get the beans in, and then I roast them in my oven, and then I'll grind them in a melanger, and then I'll mold them after tempering them on a marble slab. And I want to start with a small little candy shop that I'll do out of my house, and I will sell them through friends, through coworkers, and through a farmer's market that's local. up until I can afford to get bigger and bigger with my production. And eventually, hopefully, I'll own a storefront and I'll just go from there. It was absolutely worth it. As I said, when I was coming here, there were a choice of 2 other schools, and after I had already joined here, I was talking with other people about my experiences here, and I have a lot of people who are jealous over how much I paid compared to they did at the other schools. And then I feel like the education is better. I was talking to a friend about after cannoli day, we had made the dough, we had rolled it out super thin, we fried it ourselves, we made the filling. In fact, Chef Wild actually made the mascarpone cheese for it, and she showed us how. And then we filled them, and they were amazing. And then I told this to a friend, and she was very sad because what she did was the school brought in pre-made shells and just piped them, and she paid all of this money for something I feel was inferior. Here, the teachers are very apt to talk to you, and everyone's super friendly, and I feel like it's not about the bottom line.
And do you still keep in touch with people that you went to school with?
I do. I got a few people together and we went to Papa Haydn's dessert restaurant while I was here visiting. We text every now and then. I've had a couple people call me. We keep in touch through Facebook. We are probably a tighter group than what I'm used to, actually. We've a couple people have moved across the country and we still connect. So, in fact, there's a girl who moved to South Carolina, and we have plans to meet in Georgia and eat our way through Atlanta. And my experience was amazing, and the only thing I can say is just do it. It's absolutely worth the money you will save and the more education that you will get.